All right, if you're watching this, then it's probably safe to assume that you run an online business and you're probably you're posting every single day, trying to advertise yourself on whatever social media platform that you specialize in. Maybe you're getting a lot of traction already. Maybe you're getting likes, comments, shares, saves, even a ton of new followers. But you're having trouble monetizing. You're having trouble turning that attraction, that attention, the new traffic that you have into paying dollars inside your bank account. And odds are that the reason behind that is not because you lack the work ethic, right? Or you lack the direction. It's clear that you post every single day with a good brand that people want to follow. What you probably lack is a focused system, something that you know that works and you can actually push traffic into and guarantee conversions on the other side. And so that's exactly what I specialize in and how I've installed systems just like the one I'm about to show you to generate my coaches hundreds of thousands of dollars each inside their online fitness businesses or online coaching businesses. And I'm going to show you exactly how I do it. So this is what we call the full stack funnel. The full stack funnel is specifically a systemized landing page or conversion funnel that I install into my clients' businesses so that they can run all of their content, all their marketing, all of their traction into it and guarantee paying dollars coming out the other side. Now, like I mentioned before, you're probably getting eyeballs. You're getting plenty of numbers when it comes to comments, saves, shares, views, whatever it is. But what you probably lack are these guardrails, right? Making sure that we actually take the excessive amount of traffic that we're getting on the internet and weeding out the people that we know are not going to buy. Otherwise, you can get traction from every which corner of the internet, and they have no direction as to what needs to happen next, what they need to do to take the next step forward in order to work with you. And so I would like to mention that this is not the only funnel or the best funnel. What I will say though is the number one highest performing one that I've installed into my clients' businesses to actually generate conversions. So I'm going to break it down right now. So we're going to send people straight to a landing page with an application, and it all starts with the header and subheader. This is my example for mine, the full stack funnel. It should be polarizing. That is the name of the game when it comes to headers. It should be polarizing. It should instantly weed out people who misclicked or shouldn't even be there by speaking directly to the latent conditions of your ICP. Speak to your ideal client in terms of who they are, what they're experiencing in terms of issues, and exactly how the vocabulary they might be interested in, so to actually see a resolution or solution that you're providing to that problem. So for example, for mine, I target online business owners and coaches who are probably on social media, right? And so they understand this need of new followers, and making them question that is clearly polarizing. I also use terms like funnel and full stack, which is a software term. All of these are great ways to actually call out my ICP without specifically saying their name, right? So if you're a fitness coach and you're working with overweight, busy men in construction, right? Instead of saying, hey, I'm calling out busy weight and over men in construction in the title, you can say something along the lines of working long hours every single day, coming back, your body hurts, injuries, etc., etc. All of these are different ways to call them out using their latent conditions as opposed to just naming them. That way it actually hits a lot deeper and it's multiple layers below the surface and extracts emotions as opposed to just surface level names. Beyond that, you need a subheader that should give more context and drive curiosity as to what happens next. I should clear up and say that the purpose of a funnel is to direct attention. It's to focus attention. Just like we mentioned about guardrails directing the attention of the internet, right? We want to direct, once someone gets into the funnel, we want to direct the correct attention into what needs to happen next. That is why simplicity is always going to be the number one best friend of a funnel. If you can get focused on the copy, get focused on the targeting, get focused on the latent conditions of the ICP, if you can get that really dialed in, then your funnel, whatever it is, will crush. So the funnel should give more context for your specific title. So beyond my full stack funnel, I should give a description as to what it does, how it helps, who it helps, right? This is where you can potentially use the names of your ICP to help attract the attention and make sure they understand what the next step is. The next step for the full stack funnel in this case would be actually leading to our quiz. Now, the reason I use a quiz is for multiple different reasons, and the main one is data. I want data on every single person that comes through the funnel as early as I can get it, right? So that's why I stick it right below the header. I want the data from that person in order to not only help systemize the marketing, but to also create a feedback loop. Understand why people are joining, who that person is in particular, so I can tailor the front end marketing to get more people into the funnel in the first place, right? I'll link a video. I filmed something on automating the coaching model, and I speak a lot about feedback loops in that. So if you're interested, I'll link it somewhere on the video. So when it comes to the quiz part of the funnel, I opt for a custom one every single time as opposed to something like Typeform because I want control over the data. Okay, I don't want to rely on Typeform applications. In case their servers go down, then my entire funnel breaks. I don't want to rely on them. I want to rely on my own data, on my own systems, so that I can take that data and do whatever I want with it. Otherwise, I have to send it to Typeform. And if I want the automation to send to a Google Sheet, then I have to go to Zapier. Then I want to send it to a Discord server, right? So like there's so many convoluted ways to go around using third-party applications as opposed to one streamlined application where I can actually designate exactly what I'm looking for at every step of the funnel and take the data and send it off wherever I want it to, right? Your quiz should drive incentive. Now, when you're creating your quiz, the reason why someone will fill it out is not because they're interested in helping your business, right? Unfortunately, not everyone is that good of a Samaritan. But when people look at their quiz, people are often only going to give you their information in exchange for something for themselves. You have to think of all of your leads as kind of selfish. They're all looking out for their best self-interest, and you as the business owner need to be selfless. You need to be providing enough information and enough value to them that makes them feel like, oh, I'm getting a good deal here. Oh, I should actually be interested in what this person has to say. And eventually, oh, maybe I should pay them to help me get to where I want to be, right? And so when it comes to incentive, I always install a lead magnet on the other side, whether that's a free PDF, a free training, a free resource of any kind. I'll link my video right now to my lead magnet funnel strategy in terms of creating good lead magnets. But this is actually what drives incentive and what I consider buyer's intent, right? Making people take the next step in this buying ladder to eventually get to paying you your one-on-one coaching offer or whatever your high-ticket service is. So behind the quiz, right? If this is like the front page to our book, the back end cover, the meat of the book needs to be of value to the person, okay? All of this needs to translate to some sort of value, whether that's them making money, whether that's them losing weight, whether that's whatever it is, right? As they continue through the cover to the back end, you need to promise some sort of golden ticket, some sort of solution on the back end that makes them want to actually go through all of these steps to get to their end result. Now, use this as an excuse to nurture, but also collect significant data. Like I said earlier, we don't want to just create a quiz just for the sake of creating a quiz. We're creating quizzes because we want the data. We want their input, okay? And this is also a great excuse to say we're going to give them a personalized system, a personalized resource, right? This is further selling the concept of the lead magnet because nobody wants a generic template nowadays, right? In a world of AI where information is commoditized, you want to stand out. You don't want to be generic. You want to personalize every single one of your resources to your ICP, to their latent conditions so that it, once, like we spoke before, it hits them multiple layers deeper. So when we create our lead magnets or we create our quiz to the lead magnet, use it as an excuse to nurture them and collect significant data on the ICP for feedback loops. Get them to admit their issues, right? If I can say, what are you struggling most with? They automatically raise their hand and say, oh, I'm having issues with this. That way I can actually retarget them in my marketing, in my front end systems to bring more people like them into the funnel. Additionally, it sets them into a specific mindset of, hey, maybe I do have an issue. I want help with this certain thing. And that makes them more likely to continue to get your golden ticket and get to your high ticket offer in the back end. And eventually, like we mentioned, set up your offer in the long run, right? So the quiz is so much more than just a way to get people into the funnel. It collects data, creates a feedback loop, and ultimately positions them, as far as psychology goes, into actually raising their hand, asking for help, and getting these free resources because you set yourself as an authority. Right, next step beyond the quiz is our AI logic and routing. Now that we have the data, right? We sent data off to some arbitrary place. Now that we have it, what do we do with it, right? And that's exactly what the AI logic and routing system does. In my funnel in particular, personalization and segmentation is key here. Oops. Segmentation is a concept, especially in the online info marketing space, that nobody says enough. Segmentation is the key to actually creating conversions, and personalization is how we get there. Like we mentioned with the quiz, using this as an excuse to nurture and personalize roadmaps so they don't seem generic, we actually do that in order to create perceived value in the lead magnet, right? So, for example, in mine, depending on what you hit in my quiz, I will provide you a different free resource, different data, different videos, different assets to actually provide you the resource that I feel like you might actually need to move your business to the next level. I'm not giving away everything, but I'm giving away just enough where you can see that, oh, Kai actually knows what he's talking about. Because at the end of the day, I want to give out as much information as possible to help people see the success that they can achieve with my systems, right? And so identifying the core ICP and separate based avatars is where you need to start, right? Avatars as in the different profiles or characters that your business serves. So like going back to the construction example, you can go speak to welders, you can speak to truck drivers, right? That's not necessarily construction, but you get what I'm trying to say. People with long labor-based intensive jobs. All of these avatars might fall under one umbrella, but they each inherently have their own struggles, their own personalities, psychology involved with them. So if you can understand each of these profiles holistically, meaning their demographic, psychographic, geographic elements, then each of these avatars, you can actually tailor your lead magnets using AI or a logic-based routing system to send them to the correct resource so that they get a much more personalized experience, creating more trust, providing more value, and once again, setting your offer up in the long run. Even though it's free, it doesn't mean that we're not positioning ourselves in their psyche to actually see us as an authority and actually help them in the long run. Now, once we have our logic-based routing system, we have two different options here. You're either qualified or you're not, right? You're either, from the traffic that comes through their funnel. If we got this far, unfortunately, not everyone, although most people, not everyone will be qualified to actually buy from you or have the intention, right? And so oftentimes in one of these second layers behind the front cover, I like to use some sort of qualification question, right? That gives people the out. It sends people to a different nurture sequence because, for example, if I have a question that asks you your how much you're willing to invest into yourself, right? And if you say I'm not willing to invest anything, then why even waste my time in giving you free resources or even pitching the book a call if I know you're not going to convert? I'd much rather guarantee trust and build some rapport with you using free resources, using some sort of other offer as opposed to pitching my call or pitching an audit with you, right? And so instead, what we can do is if they're not ready for our post-booking funnel, we can send them to a nurture sequence, right? And these are for the people that are not qualified. And usually that's why we collect emails, phone numbers, because you can't unfortunately do this on Instagram yet, at least, unless you want to do like comment keyword automations. But through a landing page, you can't connect back to the Instagram system. So that's why we want to get them off the app in order to create value, trust, and authority or proof. So email and SMS messages should include authority, trust, and proof building assets. That can include education or personal branding, your USP or your unique selling proposition, testimonials, transformations, stories. All of these can contribute to warming up your customer and hopefully sending them back into the funnel when they're ready to buy. Right? If they're actually ready to invest in themselves after seeing some of these assets, then you have yourself a qualified customer who's willing to enter the post-booking funnel. Now, I'm not going to break down the post-booking funnel today because I created an entirely another video for it. I'll link that above somewhere. But that being said, this funnel is exactly how I'm able to generate hundreds of thousands of dollars for all of my online coaches using personalization, using AI and a logic-based routing system to create that segmentation that is so important when creating trust in your potential prospects. Beyond that, the quiz funnel is something that not many people run, especially in their own custom systems, because either they don't know how, or they don't know how to use the data, right? They don't understand feedback loops. So understanding how that can inform your marketing, right, all the way back to the top, so that you can increase this number and your guardrails get even more focused, and you can drive more of the correct traffic, not the crazy traffic around the internet, more of the correct traffic into our subheaders, into our quiz, and at the end of the day, identifying the latent conditions of our ICP. Cool. I hope this was helpful, and I hope you can use this video to install this system for yourself. If you found it helpful, leave me a comment as to what I should film next. And if you want to install this into yourself, into your business, book a call with me, or shoot me a DM on Instagram with any questions.